Alright, so, ooh, very orange, very orange. Anyway, so, it's the next morning, because after I did my 21 Bridges review, I tried, like, probably 3 to 4 attempts to do this Knives Out review, and I just was incoherent. I would be like, just be like, oh, okay. By then it was like 2 a.m. It's like, yeah, maybe I should go to bed. Anyway, so this one is about Knives Out. We saw it right after we saw 21 Bridges. And this is a really damn good movie, you know? It's, of course, a classic, lovely little whodunit and all that stuff. And unlike other, like, who Dizzy Doo this one, it's not really about who did it. It's like how we got to it. That's what was like what made it interesting, you know. I'm just gonna knock into everything. Um, because really, like within like the first 30 minutes, you kind of are told like this person did it, and you're like, okay. And so for the rest of the time, like for a good chunk of time after that, you're like, all right, so where we kind of go from here? Like not in a bad way, but kind of like, all right, okay, you watch things kind of unfold, and then further along, once it hits like end of the second act, the third act kind of thing, you're like, all right, all right, you know what, yeah, you know what, yep, all that stuff, and of course you have this like, ensemble cast like of actors with amazing calibers and all that shit on their own. And just seeing Don Johnson and Michael Shannon in the same room is great, you know? um, but yeah, like I said, I really, really like this movie, and I'm glad it didn't, fucking word I'm looking for. It wasn't like lackluster, because you know, like there are times where there's like a movie and there's like all these well-known names in it, and the concept seems kind of cool, but once you go and see it, you're like, you're like, oh, this person phoned it in, this person is trying to like want to have a Nicolas Cage moment, you know what I mean? But like everyone brought their A game in this one, and it was great. Um, I really enjoyed this one. Like, it had a really good sense of humor in the movie. As always, Paul and I like reacted to the jokes faster than other people, but this time not as bad as Detective Pikachu, where there was like quite a second or two before they reacted. This time it was just like ha 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 like that. It was like, oh shit. There was one dude who like over laughed like when a joke was done, and we have moved on with our lives. And like the guy was still kind of like, like, all right, bro, I get it, shut up. Like Paul even was like, it's not funny anymore, shut up, because it's like fucking prick. Anywho, but yeah, before I go into spoilers, I'm just gonna say I definitely recommend this one. Whereas like 21 Bridges, it's more of like a rental, which I forgot to mention. But again, I reviewed at 1 in the morning, so the fact that I made some sort of sense, I'm still surprised at. But yeah, that is a rental. But this one, Knives Out, I would say go see it in the theaters. I would definitely say go see it in the theaters. Um, it is Thanksgiving weekend or whatever. Not just like go see it. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the idea of it. Loved it. Like everything, once they pieced everything together, you're like, ooh, And there were some parts that had some predictability to it, but it's that whole like magician thing. I almost said musician. I'm tired. The magician thing, the sleight of hand, the distraction of like look over here, but I'm doing something over here kind of thing. Whereas you like, oh, I predicted this, but like, bitch, like we're talking about this. So that was great. Whatchamacallit. So yeah, I'm gonna go into spoilers. 1, 2, 3, spoilers. Yeah, what's her name? Anna did an amazing job, and she is a great actress. Like when she played the fucking hologram in Blade Runner 2049, even as just like a hologram girlfriend thing in Program, like she still had so much like humility to her, and she did very well. Also, well, Blade Runner 2049 was amazing, to say the very fucking least. But yeah, like she did an amazing job as this very like empathetic, kind-hearted, sweet, just like an overall great human being, around all of these assholes. Like the whole family, everyone's an asshole, and she is like the only one that's just kind of like that has like a heart that like cares and all that stuff, which makes sense why Christopher Plummer's character is like, no, I'm gonna leave all my shit, like everything, to her, because she gave him medication, took care of him, all like kept him entertained, like played his little like old man board games with him and all that stuff, you know. And again, like his family, his kids and his grandkids, they're all just like wanting grandpa's money, you know what I mean? And just, they're just like waiting for the day he dies so they can get the house, get the publishing thing, and like all that shit. So, yeah, like I said, that's the part where it's like predictable because you're like, oh yeah, of course he's not gonna give the money to the kids. Look at all these spoiled fucking assholes. But again, like, then there's the like, look over here, like, wait, we're talking about this actually. But yeah, so when you figure out who did it, you're already like, oh my god, that's devastating, And then once it's like, okay, you know who does it, but you have their back because it's an accident, You're like, oh shit. And so the whole time you're like, oh, don't get caught, don't get caught. You're like, you have heart, da da da. And also it kind of brings in kind of like a little bit of like current, like, talking points because like, she is a child of an immigrant and her mom is undocumented. So, she really wants to keep like, not being exposed because like then the family, because they're white people from Massachusetts, they're like, oh, your mom is like undocumented or whatever, and like camera, whoa, camera, hi, they're like, oh, she can be deported, like kind of threatening her, and she's just like, poor thing, and then of course like the grandkids, one of them is like a freaking like Nazi kid, the girl's like SJW, so like, and then they had like a talk about politics at one point. Again, very, very topical, And I know there are some people who are like, oh, this movie is kind of like Clue, and I'm like, yeah, like no one in the movie is trying to be like, no, we're not, because again, it's a grand house, it's a whodunit, everyone's a suspect kind of thing. Also, there's one of the cops even said, like, yeah, this man is living on like a real life Clue board, because he's like a mystery writer too, So it's like anything, because the one cop who pointed that out was like, oh, like pointing out things in the house. They're like, oh, it's like, this book and da-da-da, and Keith is like looking at him like, bro, can we just like do our job? And Daniel Craig is great because he plays like the sleuth detective guy, and at first he's just kind of like, alright, like at first he seems kind of incompetent, like why was he hired, And you're kind of like, I guess, but you are entertained by the fact that it's like Daniel Craig with a southern drawl, he's just talking with a southern drawl, the whole time. Just entertained by that, and the ways of questioning and all that stuff. But then, like, as the movie further, again, goes on and on, again, it feels like, okay, he's stupid because, like, here it is. Like, this is who done it. Like, we know who done it as the audience way before everyone else. But then you're like, how do you not know? But then, like, towards the end, it's like, oh, wait, no, he wasn't an idiot in the first place. He knew it was her. But then concluding on who really done it, like all that, like, oh my god, all that stuff. That's where the lovely journey, where it was very interesting. And again, maybe because I was so like enthralled by the movie or something, there weren't really points where, because it's a movie where it's set in like, a block of time that tends to be like repeated, when they kind of go this person's perspective, this person, da 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 da. There's never a time where you're kind of like, wait a second, I see a little plot hole. Because there are times like in a show or like a movie that kind of does that thing. You're like, wait. Like you can't fuck that up. Because you're like, wait a second. When that person's flashback, that person, like had a coffee in their hand. And the other one, all of a sudden, like in the same moment, it's a martini. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really have those kind of things. They were pretty on point with that shit. It was a fuck it. Yeah, so like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this a lot. I really, really liked this movie. Definitely, Paul really enjoyed it as well. Again, once you got to like the very end of like, oh, like motherfucker, you done it, and it all like kind of culminates and all that stuff. It was very, very entertaining, like the I feel like this movie went by so much faster than 21 Bridges. I don't know if they were like around the same length. Like, are they the same length? I don't know. 21 Bridges is an hour and 39 minutes, whereas, oh my fucking god, whereas Knives Out is 2 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, wow. So Knives Out is like 30 minutes longer and felt 30 minutes, shorter. So hot damn, yeah. So, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everyone was great in the movie. Like, everyone's parts played very well in the whole sequence of events. Find the lady, find the lady. In the sequence of events that kind of led to what happened. It was very well thought out. Definitely very well thought out. But again, it's like Rian Johnson. Like, I don't know. Wait, did Rian Johnson? Did he write it? I don't know, because he did Looper and a couple episodes of like an episode of Breaking Bad. I know he did Last Jedi, and people have just been like so upset at him for it and all that stuff. Whatever. But anyway, yeah. So definitely, like, the whole idea of it was very well thought out. Like I said, the parts that were predictable, where you're like, oh, that, and again, it's like, yeah, we wanted you to know. Like again, the movie doesn't feel it's smarter than you, nor does it think that you're an idiot that has, like, over-explained, thank God. Because especially when it comes to, like, mystery movies and all this stuff, a lot of times they have to, like, over-explain for the frickin' morons in the audience. But yeah, like, when you would be like, oh, I get it, but then the movie's like, well, do you get... And you're like, oh, shit. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so... it's like, I really enjoy this movie. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't want to say any further into it, because it's like, just go fucking see it. Yeah, I would definitely, like, 100% recommend this one. Yeah, and it's been a while since, like, I saw a movie that, like, where I was just like, yeah, I really, really like this one. I mean, I really enjoyed Joker, but I feel like I always take, like, comic book based things, like, off of the scale, just because I'm like, because you have, like a history with those characters, so I'm like, those are over there. But yeah, like that, this one, it's been a bit since I seen a movie that's, like, not a comic book movie where I'm just like, oh man, this is really fucking good. But yeah, I think I even put on my letterbox as like a 4.5 stars, so you can see that, because I think freaking 21 Bridges, I gave it 3, because it was just like, it's a movie. But anyway, yeah, so, oh, and we missed the trailers because 21 Bridges ended, and then while, like, it was, like, ending, the other one started, and then I also had to go to the bathroom. So by the time I came out of the bathroom, because you're going to see the movies in New York City, so there's going to be a line and a half, and then by the time we got in to the theater, into our seats, trailers were ended and the movie started. So it was not a bad thing, because I got there in time as the movie started, but I didn't see any trailers, which I bet with the, I guess, subject matter of this movie and 21 Bridges, it was very similar trailers. But fucking Oscar season is coming up, so we're going to be seeing a lot of movies. So anyway, see ya.